illustrations are placed. How? Welcome to lesson number 4, illustrations in publications. This lesson and another lesson today we are going to deal with is lesson number 5 is diagrammatic representation. That is 2 lessons today in this block 2. Block 2 is about graphics, and in this block there are 2 lessons. Lesson number 4 is illustrations in publications, and lesson number 5, diagrammatic representation. So in lesson number 4, that deals with illustrations in publications, we are going to study what is an image, what are sketches and line drawings, and editing of illustrations and photographs while incorporating in publications, and use of graphic arts and software like Photoshop, PageMaker, Illustrator, CorelDRAW, and how we have to place illustrations in a page that contains text, what is photo montage, how the photos are to be arranged in the montage, sourcing of illustrations through the emerging media, that is gathering illustrations from the internet or Google, something like that, and certain do's and don'ts in the reproduction of illustrations. In this lesson, let us deal with all these things one by one. It is said that a picture is worth 1,000 words, or a visual is worth 1,000 words. That means it is equivalent to at least one column in a newspaper. You know what is newspaper? Newspaper is a double demi. If you fold it, it becomes demi. Now, a visual is worth 1,000 words or equivalent to one column in a newspaper. There is a saying, if you read, you forget. If you hear, you retain a small portion of what you have heard. And if you see, you believe. So therefore, the adage is seeing is believing. This means the written and spoken word will take some time to impact, while a good visual can have an enduring impact and hence convince the audience. Therefore, visuals are important. Images are important. It becomes a relief from the boredom of the continuous text. Therefore, visuals like photographs are potential PR weapons. It attracts the readers. It gives optic beauty. For example, a handful of photographs, say 6 or 10 on an aspect of an event, can be employed as a photo montage together to depict a crucial event in the corporate publications. Instead of giving continuous text matter, and it becomes a boredom for the reader. If you give some visuals, the reader generally goes to the visuals first and then the text. If the visuals are okay, if they can tell something, okay, then if they want to further read, after seeing the visuals, the reader will go to the text matter. A photo montage supported by a short and sweet write-up on the event. Photo montage is photos arranged in a montage in a systematic manner. That is called photo montage. Photos belonging to one particular event or photos belonging to one particular theme are put together in a chronological order, in a sequence, in a meaningful sense, so that the photos together as a montage will convey the matter, apart from the text given there. Now, reflection and transmission illustrations. A photograph or a picture is an image created by the light reflected from an object falling in a light sensitive. Photograph, what is photograph? Photo means light. Graphing means drawing. So drawing something, some image with the help of light is called photograph. That is the meaning. The light surface can be a photographic film or a bromide paper. In a photographic camera, a lens focuses the visible wavelength on a scene for reproduction for the human eye to view. Reflected images are the source of much human learning. So you know already what is a photograph. You have earlier the prototype of photographs used to be there. The film is to be loaded. it is to be removed in the dark room and it has to be developed, then printed. Now you have digital cameras, and your every smartphone is a camera by itself. It is a ninth medium of communication. It performs various functions, including a good camera, a good cell phone, a smartphone with good cameras. Now you have dual cameras, tricam, quadracam, something like that. So the cell phones, the smart mobile phones will produce a good output of images. Those images can be used in the as illustrations in your publications. We are dealing with corporate publications. The paper itself is corporate publications, and a PRO or a corporate communications manager or corporate public relations manager, whatever is the role he is playing, if he is assigned the duty of editing and production of corporate publications, the gentleman is supposed to know all these things. Now, let us see the caption and its relevance. Now you have images, image, whatever it is, image has the under the term image, several things fall. Photo may be one, illustration may be one, graph may be one, but all these things put together becomes an image. Text and images, broadly text and images. Image will have several things into it. Now, caption for an image, be it a photo or a diagram or whatever it is. The photo caption is very important because you are the writer. You are writing to inform. You are a public relations man. Your duty is that of a journalist. A journalist writes in the newspaper to inform the general public. Whereas you, as a public relations man, you are writing in the corporate publication, whatever it is, whether it is a handout or a brochure or a booklet or or a house journal, internal or external, or annual report, or folder, banner, runner, whatever is the publication that an organization produces. And if a public relations man is involved into its production, then you are supposed to know all these things. Now, we are talking about caption and its relevance. What is caption? Something written underneath an image. Generally, photo captions, we call it. A photo caption should be simple to read and should answer the 6 elements. What are those 6 elements? While writing a press note, we talked about 5 W's and 1 H. It means who says what, to whom, in which channel, with what effect, and how. W, 5 W's plus 1 H. Who, what, why, where, when, and how, to be very precise. So similarly, you adopt the same thing for writing caption also. If the caption is one line, you see that all the 5 W's and 1 H, if H is not necessary, all the 5 W's must be there. Then the photo, that is the image or whatever it is, image, whatever the form of image, be it photo or graphic or statement, whatever it is, the caption should ensure that it answers all the 5 W's. Who, when, where, what, why, and of course, how. Never write the caption in this picture, in the above picture, you need not, that becomes a ridiculous excess. A photo and below that, precisely answering all the fives, your caption must be there. So the caption should be at a place that is clearly visible, and the reader should not search for the caption. Supposing you place the photo in the text in the page somewhere, and the caption is given somewhere else, it is misleading. The reader should not search for the caption. Therefore, the thumb rule is the caption should be right below the or above the photograph. Or if there is, if it is becoming difficult to give a caption either above or below, it must be given extreme right on the right side or on the left side, giving an arrow mark. So care should be taken that the reader should get the information about the photo immediately after the photo. So this is about the caption. If the caption is incoherent and the language is not understandable by the reader, he will just discard it. Okay, then images. Images is a very wide term that encompasses a wide range of visuals. Photograph is an image, drawing is an image, line art is an image, a graph is an image, a diagram is an image, a typography is an image, numbers put together is an image, symbols are also logos, geometric designs, maps, engineering drawings, and any other visual that can be printed on the paper, whatever is the publication, along with the text matter, is called an image. So, therefore, graphic images are often combined with the text matter and color. Use of graphic image consists of selection, creation, and arrangement of typography alone, like in the case of a brochure, poster, website, or book without any other element. Now, graphic images are stored in file formats. You will be generally seeing a TIFF, PDF, JPG. So, such as tagged information file format. The images are stored in these formats. One format is TIFF, tagged information file format. Another format of storing an image is portable document format, that is generally PDF. Another thing is encapsulated postscripts, that is called EPS. Another format of storing an image is GIF. We call it JFIF, GIF, generally. And joint file interchange format and joint photographic experts group, JPEG, GIF, TIFF, PDF, EPS, JPEG. These are all the known storage formats of an image. Many a time, a public relations officer encounters the term image used for illustrations and vice versa. Image is an umbrella term for everything, including illustration. So it is imperative for the PRO to confine himself to the term either image or illustration or illustrated weekly. You have already come across about illustrated things, illustrated journalism. So there will be more illustrations and less of text matters. So normally the term illustration refers to anything pictorial, photographic, and artistic creation. An image can be anything, including text, and is often graphical in nature. So that is the difference between illustration and an image. Sketches and line drawings. Sketches, just sketching, and line drawing, only drawn in lines. It is not a picture, it is not a photograph, it is not colored. Sometimes colored, sometimes may not be colored. So sketch is an image. Sketch is also an image. So image is a broader term. Illustration is also a broader term. Sketch is an image representing 2 or 3 dimensional objects drawn in lines on a plane surface without distinctions of shade and color. What is line art? We are talking about sketch and line art. Sketch is an image representing 2 or 3 dimensional objects, whereas line art can use different colors, but the emphasis is on form and line, though solid pigment and dots can be used with lines. Before the advent of photographs, sketch or line drawings were there. It was because when the camera was not invented, people used to draw in colors, draw in black or blue, and carry it into the journal or a publication along with the text. Line drawing may tend towards realism, and it can be a caricature or cartoon or ideograph. So, you know about cartoon. Cartoon is a humorous thing, representation, cartoon thing. Um, just for example, uh, we used to have one chief minister, Anjaya. Along with Anjaya, a small helicopter used to be drawn in the cartoon. It is just humor. Now, along with the prime minister, some cartoonists draw a peacock or a camera or something seashore. So that as a cartoon, it has to be humorous. The cartoon is humorous. whereas caricature is distortion of a film. Supposing our previous chief minister was there, to depict him, only his nose is projected, elongated. It is a caricature. It is it may not be sometimes humor, but some message has to be conveyed. So whereas cartoon can be a humor, sometimes it may not be a humor, but it serves a social purpose of communicating something. Sometimes sarcasm will be there, sometimes criticism will be there, but in a polished manner. So instead of criticizing in the words, a cartoon or a caricature or a ideograph interrupt. Sorry for interruption. Extremely sorry. So line drawings may tend towards realism, and it can be caricature or cartoon or ideograph. These days, when suitable photographs are not available, or if the publication is needed urgently, or if there is not enough space for photographs in the publication, sketches and line drawings are handy. A competent artist or artist can ably substitute their sketches and line drawings and help in bringing out the publication without waiting for the photographs. Then, sketch can depict an action or convey a message. A cartoon and a caricature are humorous. Caricatures are not satirical, but cartoons are satirical. But caricatures, there will be an element of humor in the line drawing of eminent personalities. Only eminent personalities can be easily recognizable, even if their photo is distorted or elongated, or some part the face or hand or something is emphasized, overemphasized. So this is only to communicate through cartoons and caricatures or ideographs, and these are all illustrations that can be carried into a publication. Now, to the cartoonist enjoys a respect in the any publication, be it newspaper or any journal or a magazine. He enjoys a unique place in the newspaper, and also he takes part in the editorial meetings. And you might have heard about R.K. Lakshman, a cartoonist. Is a glaring example that he enjoyed respect, and he was so famous. There are many other popular cartoonists who did human service to vernacular newspapers. Vernacular newspapers means language newspapers other than English newspapers. Now, editing of illustrations and photographs. Illustrations and photographs are drawn on printed on a postcard size 15 into 10 centimeters, and they have to be reduced to the column centimeters of the publication. Line drawings also can be drawn to bigger scale and can be reduced to generally how many columns will be there in a newspaper, general newspaper, standard newspapers other than a tabloid, there will be 8 columns. So they have to be, the photographs or illustration or image will have to be adjusted after taking them into a standard size and then reducing them to adjust either 2 columns or 3 columns, something like that, so that it will not go elongated or compressed vertically or compressed horizontally. So this is the duty of the man, that is public relations man, who is also involved in the process of editing and production of corporate publications. Now, use of graphic arts software like Photoshop, PageMaker, etc. Graphics are visual images or designs. See, image is a broader term, and graphic is also one of the image, that is visual image. It is a design on surfaces like paper, canvas,
wall, etc. And these days we have computer-aided graphics that have attained preeminence in entertainment industry as well as in education. Today, pictorial depiction of data through computer-designed images, typesetting, and graphic cards is a multi-million dollar flourishing industry. Photographs, drawings, graphs, diagrams, typography, etc. are examples of graphics. Graphic art software like Photoshop, PageMaker are extremely useful. There are other things, CorelDRAW, something like that. Let us discuss. What is Photoshop? Photoshop is a graphic art program useful for editing illustrations. Wherever there is an illustration, if the illustration is put into this software, Photoshop, you can edit it easily, provided you know it, or you have to give it to the expert who can do photoshopping. Thomas Knoll, a man, has first launched Photoshop in 1987. Photoshop is extremely useful for editing illustrations, not text, for editing illustrations for publication. I think you might have heard about Photoshopped one. So in Photoshop, things can be changed. My body and different some other man's head, my body, my head, and some other people's hair, something like this. You can the people who can misuse this Photoshop can change the bodies, can change the visuals, and uh, and of course that attracts criminal action. But a public relations officer is also supposed to know what are the media laws, what are the laws that attract while practicing public relations, or especially while uh, editing and producing publications for a corporate organization. After Photoshop, there is another program that is called PageMaker. PageMaker is a program useful for making up the composed loose text matter into print pages. It was in 1985, Aldous introduced this PageMaker as a desktop printing program. It is a DTP program. Several versions have come. Now it may be 8 or 9. And this PageMaker, with PageMaker, one can interface with ease with Adobe InDesign, Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustration, all these things. These are all programs for uh, making the pages. How a page should be like, look like. What shall be the size of a page, excluding the margins? How it should look like? What is the layout of a page? All these things can be done with this program called PageMaker. Another program is Illustrator. Illustrator is the companion product of the Photoshop. The first one we have discussed. It is the companion program of the Photoshop. Illustrator is the companion of Photoshop. This program was launched in 1986. It is a boon for graphic artists and designers. Illustrator is useful to draw maps, logos, infographics, package design, and illustrations. Using the good number of tools available in the Illustrator, the graphic artist can produce a variety of illustrations of very high quality. We don't tell that public relations man should learn all these programs, Illustrator, CorelDRAW, Photoshop, PageMaker, all these things. But we should have an idea, because if you have an idea, you can assist or you can guide the operator who operates these programs so that the output becomes very nice. Now, next program is CorelDRAW. CorelDRAW is also a program used for drawing with tools on the computer monitor. If you load CorelDRAW onto your computer, if you open that, you will get displayed a number of tools like brush, eraser, paintbrush, pencil, pen, and highlighter. All these tools will appear on the either on the top or on the bottom or on either side, so that you can open a page, use the tools, and draw things. And if you become an expert, it is just like anything. Nothing like that. Even if you are not an expert, if it is not your job, as a public relations man, as a public relations practitioner or PRO, it is better that you have a knowledge about all these things. Now, next, placement of illustrations in a page. How the illustrations are to be placed in a page. Photographs, illustrations, sketches, and graphic representation are all meant to extend support to the text and make the message easy to comprehend. The reader gets interest into reading or looking into the pages. Now, on a page, broadly, there are three types of display of illustrations. How do you display the illustrations on a page? One is illustrations, means maybe photo or whatever it is, image, some image. Diagonal style. What diagonal style means? Supposing a page is there, one photo is put on the top left, another photo is put on the bottom right. Or if you do it, if you place a photo on the top right, another photo will have to. So there must be some kind of logic. So this style is called photos placing diagonally is called diagonal style. Vertical style. Vertical style means supposing a page is there, you put the photos 1, 2, 3, 4, or either on the left side or on the right side. If you put it on the left side, the leftover portion is meant for the text. If you put it on the right side, the leftover portion on the to the left of the photographs in the page is meant for the text. And horizontal style. Horizontal style, either you put it on the top 3 or 4 photos together, whatever is the number, the remaining will be allotted for the text, routine text. And if you put the photographs on the bottom of the page, then it is called horizontal style. In the diagonal style of display, the illustrations are placed diagonally. In the vertical style of place, the illustrations are arranged vertically. In the horizontal style, the photographs are placed horizontally. Whether it is the horizontal, vertical, or diagonal, the display can be followed in the places. Placement of sketches in line drawing also, or photographs also. If more photographs are to be displayed on the page, it is better instead of diagonal or vertical or horizontal, go for a photo montage. Photo montage, as I told you, it is a composite pictorial depiction of a significant event or theme. If it is one particular program, all the photos, relevant photos, we place it. If it is about a theme, supposing a corporate organization has conducted a CSR program, and photos of last year, last before year, this year, if you place them together according to, you can say that also as a photo montage. It means either an event photo, photos belong pertaining to that particular event, or a theme. Theme may be a CSR or an exhibition organized by the, or the new units opened by the particular organization in different places. All together, they should convey some sense. So this is all about montage. Now, sourcing illustrations through emerging media. With social media on the internet and the internet itself, it has become easier, quicker, and timely to procure illustrations. You can take illustrations, but you'll have to see whether it has been copyrighted. If the image or an illustration is copyrighted, then if you use them, you are going to do commit an infringement of Copyright Act, a patent act, something like that. And in case you violate, the owner of the picture, owner of the visual, owner of the illustration, owner of that particular thing, property, can put you into trouble by instituting a case, police case, or civil suit in the court of law, or may complain to the appropriate authority, or may send you or your organization a legal notice. Something will happen. Therefore, a public relations man or corporate communications man is supposed to be very careful in sourcing the illustrations from the internet or Google, whatever it is. Therefore, if you do it, it becomes an infringement. And then a PRO is supposed to be very careful while collecting the visuals or images from the Orkut or Twitter or Facebook, Yahoo, or even Google. And in case in case it is not possible to take permission from the source, owner of the particular image or illustration, it is better to give credit, saying that this is the picture of so and so. You have to give a credit. At least it must be done. If permission cannot be taken, if you don't have time, you give a credit about that. This is from the Google. This is the picture of so and so. This is the picture of IOCL. This is a picture of so and so, so and so. That kind of, the bottom line is that illustration sourced should be with prior permission, or at least a courteous acknowledgement, and also they should be fit for printing. So this is the technique of sourcing the images. What are the do's and don'ts of production of illustrations? Illustrations, diagrams, and sketches are a sort of value addition to corporate publications in terms of offering them added attraction. It gives optic beauty. The reader gets into the text along with the visuals. As I told you, any individual will get attracted to the visual first and then to the text. Therefore, there must be a balance of text and the visuals so that your publication becomes a meaningful one. The following the do's and don'ts, they can be kept in mind while utilizing illustrations. So what are the do's? The horizontal style of display of photo is preferred in any two-facing pages. While using sketches and line drawings, use only simple ones. Do not overcrowd them with too many details. Illustrations will be more attractive and tint background. The multicolored pictures use real art paper to enhance it. These are all the do's. As you go, as you practice, as you get into production of publications, you will realize what can be done, what should be done, what should be done. Now, let us go to the next lesson, that is lesson number 5. Lesson number 5 is about diagrammatic representation. So in this lesson, we'll get to know about what is the importance of diagrammatic representation, what are the limits in diagrammatic representation, what are the rules, what are the important methods of representation, and what are the categories of diagrams, what is a bar, what is a rectangle diagram, what is square diagram, what is the picture diagram. All these things will be learning in this lesson. Figures are a major source of distraction in narration, especially in publications. Figures means what? Calculations, mathematical, digital things. Those figures, supposing I say Hyderabad will have Hyderabad by next year will have this kind of population of them. So and so number will be male, so and so will be female, and so will be crossing 60 years, and so much of number belongs to the so and so community, so and so religion. So all these figures are a boredom. They distract the narration. Therefore, while narrating the figures, it is better to represent them pictorially. It means diagrams. Therefore, several ways of reducing the strain and lightening the burden of retention of statistics like tabulation, different methods of classification, averages, index numbers, and percentages can be presented through various kinds of diagrams. What are those diagrams? Those diagrams are there, we'll be discussing, and what is the importance of the diagrammatic representation. While a swarm of numbers repel the readers, diagrams attract his attention as they please the reader's eye. Similarly, like you implant an image, illustration, or photo, whatever it is, it attracts the reader to get into the page, into the text. Similarly, diagrammatic representation also, at a glance, it can give you information. A diagram offers the required information in lesser time and without much hassle, lesser space. Diagrams can be better remembered than figures, especially when the figures are more than 3. What are the limitations of diagrammatic representation? While there are several advantages in diagrammatic representation, there are some inherent limitations which we should be kept in mind. to exploit the full potential of diagrammatic representation. Diagrammatic representation is only a supportive tool to textual narration. It is not at all a substitution to tabulation. Generally, diagrammatic representation is more useful in making comparisons. It is absolutely of no use in the absence of any possibility for comparison. Moreover, diagrams are approximation for the exact figures in statistical table, and therefore they are not precise in their information. These are the limitations. And what are the rules? One has to follow certain norms in drawing diagrams, which would help in making them easily comprehensible. There, it is better to draw diagrams with the aid of geometrical instruments, not vaguely, very precisely, with precision. Plan the content of the diagram as simple as possible to make the reader understand. It should not be very clumsy. Too much of information, too much clumsy, overcrowded information, put into lumps. It is not advisable. Give an explanatory heading at the top of the diagram or give a caption at the bottom. Select a proper scale for the diagram. Scale means 1 kilometer is 1 centimeter. This is something like a scale. Show the vertical and horizontal scales on the diagram. The vertical on the left hand side and the horizontal on the at the bottom of the diagram. Now, important methods. What are the methods? Various methods and knowledge of the drawing will be useful in constructing diagrams. The selection of the method depends on the characteristics of the data and the objectives of drawing the diagram. Diagrammatic representation can be made in several ways. There are one-dimensional diagram, 2D diagrams, 3D diagrams, and pictures. What are the categories? There are two broad categories in diagrammatic representation of data that will help us in showing variety and to drive home the hard to read and remember data to make it easy. They are charts and graphs. Diagrams are divided into charts and graphs. But these two are quite often used in an interchangeable manner, though they are of different approach. Charts are different, graphs are different. When the numerical data is to be categorized or averages are to be worked out and presented in a way that can be easily understood, it is possible through charts. Numerical data generally adopted by charts. Charts can be used to represent differences in various aspects of surveys and numerical figures in a simple manner. Charts contain numerical results looking out of the visual itself. These are mostly used in business and debates. The actual data under consideration is the domain of graph. It contains precise figures depicted on the two axes, vertical and horizontal, of a graph sheet. Graph is useful to analyze and represent exact numerical data. In a chart, the statistical data is depicted through symbols. For example, in a bar chart, the statistical data will be in the form of bars. In a line chart, the information will be presented in lines. In a pie chart, the statistical information will be in the form of slices. Pie means maybe you take, for example, a pizza or burger. It is circular in shape and it is sliced into a pie diagram. Pie means pie is also a kind of bakery item. So the older name of a bakery, a circular shape. Now you got pizzas and burgers. Earlier, there used to be only pies, and pie is sliced into various portions. Can be cut half, can be cut into quarters, can be cut into 8 pieces or 16 pieces, whatever it is. But what is the proportionate size in the whole? Suppose 1 rupee is the income. 1 rupee is the income. 75% is for the 75% for the domestic expenses, 75 pies, and 5 pies is the savings, and 5 pies is for conveyance, commuting. So how do you draw this in a pie? So make a chart, take it into 4 pieces and allot 3 pieces, 3 slices as 75% for the expenditure, and the 5% you divide. One is 5% is for savings, 5%. Similarly, you divide those slices so that it becomes easy at a glance. If you look at it, the income is 1 rupee, that is 100 paise, and the expenditure is divided like this. So comparison or relationship chart. Charts are there, and let us look at the charts. When you have data on 2 or more variables and want to represent them together in a diagram to point out a correlation or some type of pattern, this chart is very much useful. A comparison. Venn diagram. Venn diagram, these are qualitative in nature and are very handy to depict relationships. Venn diagram means several circles overlap, maybe 3 or 4 circles overlap on one another. That is called Venn diagram. It means a core area is to be indicated. Suppose 3 subjects are there dealing with one particular area of study. So these 3 subjects overlap at one particular place. The core area becomes the heart of the particular subject. So generally, this kind of information is to be illustrated, is to be explained through Venn diagram. Distribution chart. These convey the distribution of data. Composition chart. Flow or process chart. Flow chart means generally hierarchy. The CMD or general manager, or deputy general manager, assistant general manager. So what is the hierarchy of officials? What is the hierarchy of an authority? What is the hierarchy of command in an organization is depicted in the flow chart, that is also called process chart, also called decision trees. Now location chart or map. Generally for location maps are given in the wedding cards. Location maps are given in the real estate brochures, real estate folders, real estate handouts. So this is also one kind of representation, so that it becomes very easy. Instead of explaining that you come there, you come here, you take this bus, you get dropped there and reach there and take right, left. Instead of narrating it in a text, it is better you put it in a map or a chart so that the location can be located, the particular area can be located by the locator. I mean, the person invited or the person who wants to know where it is exactly. It is very easy to understand. Then graphs. Graphs, the visual representation of very complex numerical data in a way that it can be easily understood is possible through a graph. What are the graphs? How many graphs are there? One is pictograph. Pictograph in these smaller pictures are drawn. Supposing 100 people, 1,000 people, you have to indicate in a diagram. 1,000 people, you make 10 pictograms, 10 people standing side by side. You say each man is 100. If each man is 100, if you put 10 people together side by side, then the total is 10 into 100 into 10 is equal to. It is generally depicted in the demographies. While indicating the population, either of the people, either of the animal, either of the birds, either of the number of anything. So supposing so many cars were sold in a particular year by a particular company for which you are making a publication, a brochure, then you will put 4 cars and say each car represents 1,000 cars. It means 4,000 cars the company has sold in that particular quarter of the year. Then bar graph, then line graphs. These are all the graphs. And stem and leaf plot, histograms, time series graph. Time is indicated in a horizontal line by making a dots. This is 1975, this is 1985, this is 1995, this is 2005, this is 2015, where we are standing. What is the progress? This can be indicated in a diagram through time series graph. Dot plot. Dot plot is another, you will place only dots instead of lines. The dots will indicate, supposing a small dot is there, big dot is there. For small villages, a small green dot. For big villages, a blue big dot. So in a map, in a graph, you will be indicating. A comparison chart is supposing 50 years ago, this small green dot was there in the particular map. After 50 years, maybe 2024, 1994, it was like that. In 2024, that particular green dot has become a big blue dot. It means it has grown into a major city. So these are all the presentation to make people understand, the reader understand. So all these things are given here. These bars are vertically placed and their value is indicated. And some rectangle and squares are also indicated and the values are given in them so that the people can understand. Then picture diagram, as I told you, the population in so and so is Venezuela, El Salvador, Mexico, Brazil, India, China, Pakistan. The population can be compared vertically. The nations are drawn vertically and their population is drawn horizontally. So these are all the things how to represent, how to make images, illustrations, diagrams, uh, tell the people in addition to what the text says. So diagrammatic representation will make the statistical data easy to represent, easy to comprehend, and easy to remember. Several methods of representation of statistical data like tables, averages, percentages, index numbers, etc. are being used in general. Diagrammatic representation helps represent the statistical data into visual aids. Understanding through visual aids is easy, and it is also simple to represent data in visuals and diagrams. Drawing geometric lines, curves, pictures, maps, and figures for the statistical data is called diagrammatic representation. Why we should know all these things? Corporate publications like annual reports, brochures, handouts, booklets, handouts, chairman speeches, etc., or they generally do contain statistical data, which needs to be understood in proper perspective by the public and especially the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? They have a stake, they have an interest. Either they might have invested the money into a particular organization. They are supposed to be given the information, and that information must be they must be able to comprehend, understand. We are going to publish a publication to inform, not to confuse them. So a public relations man is expected to disseminate information in such a way that it gets understood by the public targeted, the public specified, the public concerned. We are the public relations people are supposed to communicate with the targeted public of the corporation or the organization for which he is working. Therefore, while drawing diagram, some general rules have to be observed which would help effective depiction of data. Depiction means describing. Neatness is the hallmark of an effective diagram. They should not be clumsy. They should not be too thick. They should be very pleasing to the eye so that the people will not get bored. Headings in bold letters should be on the top of the diagram. A simple diagram is understood very easily. There are various forms of diagrammatic representations: one dimension bar, two dimension bar, rectangles, squares, circles, and pictures. Easy to draw and adopt, the bar diagram is the most common and general purpose chart. It can be used for any type of series and is specially suited to categorical series. Bars can be drawn vertically, horizontally. However, it does not serve the purpose on certain occasions when more data is to be depicted in the diagram. The other types of diagrams like circles and rectangles, circles means by rectangles, squares, which can accommodate more statistical information, can be considered in place of bars. So where bar is to be used, where a pie is to be used, where a Venn diagram is to be used, where histogram is to be used, it is the discretion of the management, provided the public relations officer suggests them. Therefore, a PR man or a PR practitioner or a corporate communication manager is supposed to equip this minimum kind of knowledge about editing and production of corporate publications. Therefore, there is every need to get to know about all these things. Where quantities differ widely in magnitude, a square diagram can be considered to compare quantities. The idea of representing statistical data in the form of pictures is to help quick grasp of comparison of magnitude. So today we have discussed two lessons. In the next class, that is tomorrow, we will be discussing lesson number 6 and 7. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you. Thanks to the university.